The looming redundancy surge. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from Alexis Carey on news.com.au discussing, well, the looming job losses and redundancies that are expected. I can't say I'd be particularly surprised. I imagine there are a whole lot of businesses that are just holding on to people under, well, for two reasons. One, they're hoping of a V-shaped recovery, that the economy will bounce back and everything will return to normal. And two, they actually care about their staff and want to help them out, rather than firing them, keeping them on. I did it too. We probably kept some people on longer than we should have, because you like them. You know, this is the thing, guys. Bosses usually like their staff, particularly in small to medium enterprises where you actually have a relationship with the person who's risking everything to give you a job. You know, that's what it's like in normal life. I don't know. A lot of people just don't seem to get that, don't they? They're like the narrative of the rich evil boss there. I guess it makes them feel good, probably to dehumanize the person who's superior to them in business, or is above them, not to realize that they could probably be in that position themselves if they just stepped up. And maybe that's the uncomfortable truth. Maybe that's it. It's the jealousy and the inadequacies. I figured out the left, guys. I figured them out. There we go. Done. We can solve all of the problems now. So, aside from going off topic, as I usually do, let's have a look at this, because yeah, I mean, it's gonna start to happen, guys. We'll start to see it. An expert has warned of a tsunami of job losses ahead, and revealed how some sacked workers can get 6 months' salary for just $75. Okay, how is that gonna happen? How is that gonna happen? The coronavirus crisis has devastated countless livelihoods, but there's a new threat facing businesses and everyday workers alike that most of us haven't seen coming. That's according to Aussie employment relations expert Natasha Hawker, who told news.com.au JobKeeper 2.0 was now just days away, would leave employees and staff exposed to a redundancy bloodbath. Well, a lot of us have seen that coming and have been talking about it, but, I guess some people probably haven't. Or they just put it off. I'm going to have a shot of coffee. Have you been expecting this? The $1,500 a fortnight JobKeeper wage subsidy was first announced by the federal government in April in a bid to keep businesses and households afloat during the pandemic. I would argue also to reduce the strain on Centrelink, but that's just the cynical bastard that I am. But while it has been extended for an extra 6 months to March 28, 2021, the rate of payments have been scaled back from the end of the month, with full-time employees who work more than 20 hours on average a week getting their payment slashed to $1,200 per fortnight. Now, what she doesn't mention here, what Alexis doesn't mention, is that the budget has also been cut, the overall government budget, from $70 billion to only $30. So what does that tell you? Part-time employees who work less than 20 hours a week will get $750 per fortnight. The eligibility criteria is also being tightened. And with $30 billion, okay, she said it here, with $30 billion earmarked for the new version of the scheme compared with a far more generous $70 billion for the initial program, experts fear more Aussies will miss out this time around. Well, yeah, guys, we can't have zombie companies just dependent on the state. This is all money that's going to have to be paid back eventually, either through taxation or inflated away. One way or another, we're paying for it. All of us are. This is the part of the price we're paying, guys. This economic devastation is part of the price we're paying for the government's intervention in the economy. And it seems like more and more people want this intervention. Perhaps either they're not concerned with the devastation to the economy, or they're just happy to start seeing some action, some leadership, because they're afraid. They're afraid. Can you blame people? When the extension was announced in July, Prime Minister Scott Morrison touted it was a win for workers and a tool in delivering the support Australians need and the policies our economy requires to reopen, recover, and create jobs. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg also praised the extension, claiming it would help keep businesses in business and Australians in job as our economy reopens. But Ms. Hawker said instead the pared back scheme would cause a lot of pain for bosses and staff, and that many businesses will be forced to cut costs as a result. Well, it's a recession. Do people not know what happens in a recession, guys? You lose jobs. You lose jobs. Businesses shut. This is what happens when you shut the economy. If you don't take this crutch off businesses, if you don't wean it off, it's going to be much worse in the long run. Just think about that. She predicted that would lead to a massive spike in redundancies, and with it, unfair dismissal claims. See, in this, I mean, here's the thing. The unfair dismissal process. It needs to be easier to fire people. Because then it's there's more incentive to hire people. For a small business, dealing with all this BS is quite frustrating. It really is. Fortunately, Rachel had to manage it when we had to let people go. But the hoops you have to jump through, it's a disincentive to employ people. It's that simple. Why do you think people will offshore work? Why do you think people will hire contractors? Why do you think people will hire casual? Oh, sorry, we didn't fire you. We just didn't need you. Hours are cut. Why do you think we're such a, some people don't even realize why they've been fired? For many businesses, especially smaller businesses for whom cash flow is vital, JobKeeper has been like a ventilator for the business during the pandemic. But the oxygen is about to be turned off and some businesses won't survive without life support, she said. Is that the definition of a zombie company, everyone? Do we want those? How much of our economy are we willing to have in zombie mode? Ms. Hawker said there'd been a 70% increase in unfair dismissal claims during the last quarter alone, and she expected that figure to rise after the nation reached the September cliff, with JobKeeper, rent relief, and loan deferrals beginning to wind up. And there's going to be an increase in insolvencies too, and businesses going under. Remember that's about 60% lower than where it should be as well. The reality is most businesses will no longer qualify for JobKeeper, and even if they do, they can't continue to accrue debt when they have minimum or zero income, she said. Yeah, that's just a hard dose of reality. She explained that it costs $74.50 for sacked workers to file an unfair dismissal claim, and that someone earning an average Australian salary of $65,000 could score themselves a $32,000 payout on top of their redundancy. Why? That's if it's proven to be unfair. I hope. I bloody well hope. And while a let-go worker had nothing to lose by filing, Ms. Hawker said the process could be disastrous for business owners. See, this type of bullshit, guys, this is why we're not an innovative nation. This is why business people would rather put their money into property than deal with this shit. Okay, I can tell you that honestly. I've had friends in business, they've had staff that have just done stupid, bloody thing and can be a pain in the ass when you got to fire them. We had one guy, sign remove. I've got a mate, he's a signee. He's doing really well, actually. Son of a bitch. He bought a, little caravan on the back of his ute, so he goes on adventures. Not a caravan, like an attachment, and he can put legs down and drive off, and he keeps showing off on his Facebook. But, he had one idiot worker that was up there removing an old sign, and he was writing swear words on the sign on a main road. Sometimes you just got to cut people. But see, this is it. There's nothing to be lost. There should be. What if you make a false claim? Oh no, Florian, that's victim blaming, the poor worker. And have you heard about all of the people who want to get their redundancy payouts and all this stuff? It's even worse in construction, guys. It's even worse in construction, where they're forced to pay into big pools of money that the unions control, and then workers will go, oh, fire me here or here so I can get this money. Yeah, guys, that's Australia. That's why our economic complexity is going down. That's why everyone just can't be bothered and just goes into property, because you don't need to deal with this stuff. She said there was a requirement for redundancy to be genuine. Well, if the economy is shut down and you got no bloody work, of course, that's a genuine reason for making people redundant. This is Australia, guys. This is the state intervening in how you run your business. That's how it is. You know? Most people, when you work with them, you pull them aside. And, I've had to fire people, guys. I've had to, tell them, guys, we've run out of work or it's not working out. Most people understand. Okay? Sure, they're sad. One girl's crying in the office in tears. But they still talk to me years later. Yeah. She said there was a requirement for redundancy to be genuine and that workers were protected from terminations that were deemed to be harsh, unjust, or unreasonable. But she said many businesses came unstuck on technicalities after failing to follow the correct protocols, which included planning the redundancy process and timetable, preparing managers for the conversation, preparing documentation, calculating redundancy packages, and consulting with the employee through the process. I mean, I imagine she's doing this as a way to generate business or to warn people. But, I mean, this is just all extra costs. So it costs someone $75 to file a claim to complain. And yet, here in Brisbane, there's architectural firms that we saw that were illegally getting students to do work, unpaid work, that gave them an unfair competitive advantage. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. And the students, they all do the work. Yeah. Flying overseas on trade missions with our leaders. Yet. Yeah. So that's why I say just open it up. Make it easier for all of us. Make it fair and equitable. I believe it will get a lot worse before it gets better. And I think we've only seen the tip of the iceberg, she told news.com.au. The reality is most businesses, in my view, have been blindsided by the pandemic and have little cash in reserve. Owners are fighting for the survival of their business as well as their own family. It's financial survival. I mean, here's the thing, guys. When you're running a small business, it can get tough. It can get really tough. We had moments where we had lots of money outstanding, and to pay the staff, we'd have to draw cash advances. That's how, for us, it got really close. And it's really frustrating when multi-millionaires owe you $100,000 and are paying you 90 days late. Really frustrating for a small business. Or when someone, you've got to fight for $500, $500 from some of the big companies with billions of dollars of turnover. That's where I've learned now you've got to really be in a position when you're in small business to have FU money, to not deal with the crap. But you live and learn. But still, that and they're gonna. Honestly, that's why I'm quite happy with how we've scaled back our whole business. I got rid of all of the costs that I didn't need. I got rid of the office, all this other stuff. And I'm being very picky with who I work with now. So I'm enjoying a lot of the projects I'm working on. We just finished, well, not quite finished, it's just nearly getting near the end. A school extension, 500 students. That's a beautiful project. I'll show you some photos once I get out there. I'll probably do it later this week. As opposed to when I had a team of guys under me, I just needed to keep the stuff flowing in. But you live and learn. But how many people are going to be in that situation where they've got all these costs and they've kept the people on and they've still incurred all these other costs? Maybe they've just, skipped on the super, or maybe they haven't been, they didn't realize how much holiday time they're accruing. I remember when I found out that people accrued holiday time when they're on holiday. I got so shitty. I go, why the hell are you getting holiday time when you're on holiday? You're not working. So, yeah, and I rang up the accountant, and the staff laughed their asses off at me when they realized that. They're going, I'm going to go on holiday and earn that sweet holiday time. The bastards. So, there's going to be a whole lot of businesses that are hit by this. The harsh reality is that when JobKeeper ended, or with JobKeeper ending, many will have to let staff go. And if they find themselves defending multiple unfair dismissible claims, it could ultimately bring them undone. One could bring them undone. One could be enough stress. I mean, if you've kept someone on through JobKeeper. And then they go you an unfair dismissal when you're struggling to keep your business going, when you're on the verge of shutting it down. How is that going to make you feel? That hardens someone. That hardens someone. So that's where someone, and I've seen this happen, that's where like some airy-fairy lefty idiot gets hardened, and then boom, their Overton window shifts, and they're not that nice a boss anymore. And that happens to a lot of people. That happens to a lot. It happened to me. I was a lot softer when I first started business. Then you generally get hardened when you get treated like crap. Yeah, it doesn't happen. It only happens once or twice. That's why the older you get, the more of a bastard of a boss you are. Ms. Hawker said, with so many business owners in distress, it was even easier to make potentially costly mistakes, citing a real-life example of a distribution company that recently dismissed a driver on the spot after 3 years of service without offering any severance pay. Unsurprisingly, it ended in an unfair dismissal complaint, and a 6-week payout was eventually negotiated. But Ms. Hawker urged business owners to get the right advice from the get-go to avoid a similar disaster. Lots of business owners are thinking, I'm stuffed, I'm going broke, why would I pay you out? Well, yeah, that's it. That's it. And they take the risk when they're not thinking straight and are in panic mode. But rushing and making mistakes ends up hurting both sides, she said. This is the thing. Why would you take on the risk, guys, here in Australia of doing a business? Why not just stuff it, go into housing? Negative gear the hell out of that bitch. Credit only interest. Buy 5 of them. Get in the articles. Bam. Done. I mean, do it even better. Just go to the shit-ass poor suburbs so your housing is all supported by the dole. Cha-ching. Australia, mate. This is it. When I'm saying it needs to be easier to fire people, guys, this is the other side of it. This is the stress that it can cause. It can destroy lives. It can destroy businesses. And it's even worse if you're doing something nice for someone, if you're helping someone out. This is why, as a boss, you need to be a hard bastard. Because if you can do someone a favor or help them, it can really screw you over. You're putting yourself at risk. A lot of people probably have the best intentions, being friendly, like offering someone work experience or all these other opportunities, or maybe keeping someone on longer than they should, and they don't realize what they're exposing themselves to. Really, it's all the lawyers, and it's all the rules to make it all fair and easy that just stuff it up. Ms. Hawker called on the government to extend grants to small to medium business owners across the country to help them gain proper legal, accounting, and HR advice during the pandemic and the recession. So there's the reason for the article. There's the reason for the article. She's, rather than saying that we need to address some of this legislation to make it easier to terminate people and to kind of have a more adult relationship between workers and businesses and don't make the businesses the parents, she's calling for grants and government handouts so that all those lawyers and HR and accounting people can get their sweet money. So what do you think, everyone? Can you see both sides of it? I can see, for being an employee, how just being let go like that can be a shock, can be stuffed. But then again, I guess we don't even have rainy day. Who am I kidding? No one has a rainy day money anymore these days. Stop saying that, Florian. It's crazy. Come on. It's always blaming the victim, rainy day funds. I've been watching too much bloody Dave Ramsey, everyone. Anyway, guys. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the... Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I created, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next episode.